Hey, everybody. It's your girl Barbie J here, and we are back with another wonderful episode of The Equalizer, Season 3, Episode 10, Do No Harm. And I'm glad I like this episode because they kind of made up, y'all. They kind of made up. Yes. McConte are talking again in this episode, but I was wondering why he called her. But let me get into the review recap real quick so we can discuss. Okay, so this episode, wait, before we discuss, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please take a moment right now, subscribe, comment, like, and share. Thank you. Now, so this episode starts with a woman, her name is Miss Stone, trying to get her daughter, who's dying, a special surgery that can save her life. But her daggone insurance company won't cover it. So they want to discharge her daughter. They want her to try and get some kind of financial aid with the hospital and all that. It's talking about, did you talk to the social workers? It was one of those hospital administrators. But she was told it could take weeks. And her daughter didn't have weeks to live. So she wanted to speak with the doctor. I think the doctor's name was Dr. Keller. And that daggone hospital administrator was telling her that he's in surgery. But he was lying all the time. It had to do with the insurance. And so she's like, well, this hospital really sentenced my daughter to death or to die, whatever it was, over money. And he says sorry and walks away. I was like, what? So the mother goes over to her daughter and the daughter asks, Mommy, am I going to die? I said, oh my God, I almost started crying right then and there. So the mother gets desperate and she sees a police officer over by the desk talking, and she rushes over and grabs his unlocked gun. It's not even snapped in the holster. And she grabs it and threatens to kill folks if her daughter doesn't get that daggone surgery. I said, uh-oh, here we go now. Here we go now. What's that, John Q? We got John Q going on right here, y'all. Remember Denzel Washington in that show? Anyway, then we see Detective Dante outside of the hospital, and they're telling him about the situation. The armed woman, the mother of the patient, and 5 hostages. And they want him to talk to the perpetrator, but he says no because there's protocol and it's that the TAC team initiates dialogue in this situation. But they said, that she sounds a little antsy and they don't want her to do anything. So the TAC team is held up across town and their ETA was 30 minutes. So they think someone should talk to her before she hurts someone, which makes sense. So, of course, Dante gets on the phone. He talks to her and agrees and asks the woman what is going on. And she tells him. And then he asks her, what is it she wants? Well, I was shocked to find out what she wanted. She wanted an equalizer, honey. So then we have Delilah in the kitchen trying to make gumbo. Oh, Lord Jesus. How in the world she going to try to be making gumbo when she knows she got Aunt Vi there? And she said she's trying to make it because her class is having a cultural heritage potluck. And her family has roots in Louisiana. Now, of course, we know, they all know that Aunt Vi can cook her butt off. So, Aunt Vi's face lit up when Delilah told her that, what she was about to make. And she said she would help her. She's like, well, you didn't tell me I would have helped you. But then Vi's face would turn into a scowl when Dee said she wanted to surprise them and that she found a bomb recipe on Bon Appetit. Aunt Vi grabbed that damn menu and was looking at it saying it was missing key ingredients such as okra and andouille sausage. So Robin was like, don't kill her, Aunt Vi. Don't kill her. I raised her better than this. I don't know what's going on. So Aunt Vi tells Dee that they're going on a field trip. And at that moment, Robin's phone rings and it's Dante. So Robin starts apologizing for that cop killer Randall who escaped. And so he tells her that's not why he's calling. And then he tells her about some Miss Stone and that she asked to speak to an equalizer. So Robin calls Harry and Mel to find out info on Miss Lauren Stone, I think her name was. And we learned that the surgery that her daughter needs done is a high-risk one and insurance companies refuse to cover it. So, it's ridiculous. All they care about is their bottom line, which is the same thing Mel said. So Robin lets them know that she's going to the hospital to meet with Dante. And Mel asks, are things getting better between them? Are they better between them or not? And she tells her, that she's just focusing on the little girl. So she meets with Dante, of course. And as they are discussing things, the commander of the TAC team, what's his name, Bruce Gregory or whatever, comes over and is very stern with Dante and Robin, who was pretending to be, Robin was pretending to be her psychotherapist and wanted to go inside and talk her down peacefully so that no one would get hurt. But this commander didn't give a good goddamn about that. He told Robin that if she gets in his way, he will have her arrested. I said, damn, what is wrong with this little stiff, stick in the butt kind of guy? But we did learn that he goes by the book, but still, damn. So Robin and Dante are trying to figure out a way to get in there. And Robin's saying something's off because it doesn't look like they're going in to negotiate. It look like they're about to breach. And Dante's reading, not reading, but he's saying they're supposed to exhaust all avenues. And she said, but how come it doesn't look like that? They could see them all getting ready to go in there because they think something big is happening. So Robin goes and calls the DA. Remember that female DA that she saved? And she spoke to her to see if she could help get her in or find out what is going on. Robin's like, if TAC team goes in there, that little girl is probably going to die. She said, I want to try to get in there, save the hostages and that little girl. And she told her that the lady asked for her specifically, which means she can talk the lady down. So the DA said she would make some phone calls and see what she's going to do. In the meantime, Aunt Vi takes Delilah to an old neighborhood where there's a restaurant called the Brass Spoon she used to go to get gumbo. And it was owned by a woman named Audrey. So they used to have like Southern, I guess, comfort food type of something. I don't know what type of food it says. I couldn't read the sign on the outside. But when she got up there in there and they gave her the menu, they was like, we don't need these. She said, we just want the gumbo. He's telling her gumbo's not on the menu anymore. And that Audrey had passed away and that it was being run by her son, Nelson. And Nelson turned the place into a vegan restaurant because he had to keep up with the times. And Aunt Vi was like, what? She was like, and Delilah's looking at her like, uh-oh, she's pissed. So when Nelson comes out and sees her, he remembers her face and everything because she ate there so many times all the time. And so he told him, mom died and he didn't have her recipes and didn't know how to make them and they were losing business. So they had to change. So she said, well, let me into that kitchen because I've eaten your mother's gumbo so much that maybe I could recreate it for you. And they all went into the kitchen and he was glad Aunt Vi was able to recreate it as best as possible. And he was loving it. And Aunt Vi also offered to help him with some of her other recipes. I think some of her desserts as well. And he was very grateful. They were all in the kitchen doing the cooking together and stuff. And she said she would help recreate it and get some of those items back on the menu. Mind you, while they was out there eating a gumbo, one of the patrons, it was a Caucasian woman. She was like, what is that you're eating? It smells delicious. And they were like, it's gumbo. She said she wanted some and wanted to try it. And Delilah told her, it's delicious. You really want to get it. She said, well, I'm going to get that next time I come here. So I guess they're going to put that on the menu. So he's going to change his menu back a little bit because of Aunt Vi. Isn't that wonderful? It was that I like that. I like that whole thing with them and the whole vibe and everything that was going on with that little restaurant and how Aunt Vi was able to reach and talk to this youngster. Some youngsters are like, look, this is what it is. That's what it is. Bottom line. But he was really interested in recreating his mother's legacy and the food that she made and what she really wanted that to keep going because that restaurant had been in their family for like 100 years or something, owned by the same family. So that was a good part of this show. Now let's get back to all this hospital stuff. So DA got Robin access to get into the hospital. The TAC commander came over and said, oh, you must know people in high places. You got 1 hour, 1 minute after that. If you ain't marched those hostages out, we're coming in. And she was like, what's the rush? She's asking him, Robin's asking him, and he's like, it's above my pay grade. But the DA did tell her something else is going on because she called the chief of police or whatever. But they wouldn't, give all the specifics. Anyhow, Robin prepares to go in, and she let Dante know that the DA got her in. And he asked her, "Are you sure you want to go in?" And she's like, "Yeah." She said, "You concerned, detective?" And he was like, "I just want you to be careful." So she tried to do that little cat and mouse thing they do, but he wasn't trying to hear it really. So she gets up in there, and the lady opens the door. She asks her, is she the one that saved that woman daughter back in Queens when her sister tried to kill the baby? I remember that episode too. So she was like, "Yeah, that's me." So she said, "What can I do for you?" And she's letting them know what's going on. And Robin's trying to get her to put down a gun, but she told Robin, "If I put down a gun, they're not going to do that surgery." And Robin's like, she couldn't say anything because she knew the lady was right. So anyway, she tells her who the hospital administrator is, and Robin pulls him aside and talks to him, and he said the doctor is not in surgery. He's not coming. I just said that to stall. He said because the hospital, like, they're not gonna cover it or something or whatever because of her insurance. And Robin's like, "You shouldn't have told her that. That almost like made it worse. Call that doctor and get him here to this hospital now." And that's what he did. And then she made it seem like, tell him to hurry up that surgery, because the lady with the gun was listening. Anywho, then the freaking hostages get into an argument because Robin's telling them to calm down, stop arguing. And this one Karen, I'm going to call her a Karen because that's what she was, acting like, "How you have so much patience? You scold us, but you got all this patience for the lady brandishing a gun." And she said, "Look, I'm up here trying to keep everybody safe. That's what I'm on the side of." And so the white guy next to her said, "Yeah, we need to be calm and stuff." And they was arguing. The lady came over there with the gun, and Robin's like, "That ain't gonna help. You coming with that gun threatening people, Anywho, Miss Stone's daughter's thing started going off ringing, and she's in distress or something, and the nurse runs over there to help. Because one of the arguments they was having is that the administrator didn't like the way the nurse was talking to him. The nurses said, "Of course you on the side with the hospital, don't care about the patients. This would have never happened if y'all would have just did the damn surgery," And so that's how they was fighting. So anyway, the nurse runs in there, Robin runs in there, and there's not enough oxygen getting to the little girl's brain. The air is not, her throat or something is clogged, and they need to cut an airway, they call it. I believe that's called a tracheotomy or tracheostomy. I think it's a tracheotomy. They have to cut a little airway on the outer part of the throat, and the nurse's hand is shaking because she's scared because the mother got a gun and stuff. And Robin's like, "Look, she I don't know, disinfected her hand," and she said, "I'll do it." And they cut a little space in the neck of the little girl, and they put a straw in there, and her vitals were steady. It was like, thank God, because that mother would have lost it up in there. So then Dr. Heller shows up, or Keller, whatever his name is, shows up, and he starts prepping for surgery. So Robin makes the phone call to Dante. It's to speak to the commander. And she lets him know that they're prepping for surgery. He said, "That's all well and good, but if those hostages haven't walked out of there in 15 minutes, they're coming in." And she's like, "We're so close." He's like, "I don't care. Those are my orders and stuff." So she has Harry and Mel look into some more stuff, like the hostages there, to see if any of them was related to him in any kind of way. And they couldn't find anybody related to him, but what they found out is one of the hostages, the one who told that Karen to calm herself down, he's a senator's son. And that's why Geller's probably Commander's trying to get in there so gun-ho. Because, senators be having a lot of pull. They carry a lot of weight over there. I think they are higher than DAs, Anyway, Dr. Geller is ready for surgery. He's like, "Let's get her to the OR." Meanwhile, that Karen is sitting there going, "And she's never going to let us go." And they're like, "She just wants to get, help for her daughter." That's what the senator's son said. And the black security guard whose gun she took, he's going, "She just probably wants," she said to, "How come they didn't let us go already?" And he said, "She probably want to wait till the surgery starts," which makes sense, which is what she wanted to do. But no, she said, "What happens if the surgery doesn't go well? You think she's going to have y'all sitting there for hours?" She wasn't going to do that. But the crazy Karen ran to her bag while Robin's back was turned and got her gun out and went and shot. And they yelled, "No, what are you doing?" And Robin goes over there to try to grab her, and the woman shot the damn doctor. She's so stupid. She shot the doctor. All this time, that's all we waiting for. And now the doctor can't do the surgery. Robin and them had to tie her arms down so she can't get up no more because she was a troublemaker, basically. But before that happened, Robin had reached out to the DA to ask, since that the commander won't give her time, what if she marched the senator's son out personally? Could she sell that to them and have her call the dogs off? And she said she thinks she could. And that's what she was going to do until this happened. So now they got to find another doctor in the United States, somewhere in New York, close by, who can perform this surgery. And Harry is searching and searching. Robin got him searching and stuff. Everybody's pissed because they would have almost been out, but this stupid little Karen did her thing. So we see the commander downstairs and the DA, they're all outside. And Dante lets them know that it was one of the hostages had a gun. And so the commander's like, "Oh, the hostages got guns too." And the DA is like, it's escalated now because it's another shot. It's a shot. There's like nothing they could do really. And he's like, "Come on, give us some time. It's still on the table." Dante is begging them. And the commander's like, "I don't care." He walks away and Dante yells at him, "Have a damn heart, man." Ooh, that black man turned around and came back to Dante. And he said, "Officer Murphy, escort Detective Dante out of my perimeter." And Dante is like, "I could leave on my own. Thank you." In the meanwhile, Harry's still looking for a doctor to perform this pulmomyalgia surgery that's the disease or something that the little girl has. And they find a doctor from Iraq who can do it. But they're like, he's in Iraq. And he's like, "No, it looks like he stamped his passport at JFK 2 months ago." And they said, "Which hospital he's at?" And he's like, "He's driving cabs." So they actually found, I don't know how Harry found the cab that this doctor was driving. He said the United States wouldn't accept his medical credentials here. But Harry begged him to do it. Said there's a little girl who could use his help, and he's sure the mother doesn't care about his credentials. So he said, "Show me the way." It didn't take much encouraging him, but Harry said, "But let me drive." And Harry was flying, I guess, through them city streets. So when Harry arrives to the hospital and they're trying to get through to get Dr. Masaki or whoever into the building, they're stopped by the commanding officer, that guy of the TAC team. And he told Dante, "I was serious. I want you out of my perimeter." And Dante said, "Fine. We'll just stand here and talk to those reporters. I'm sure they'll be interested in knowing that the TAC team commander just turned away the only doctor that could save that dying girl's life over an ego trip." I said, "Ooh." And of course he said, "Fine, let him through." Meanwhile, the commander already had somebody in there. They had her in there trying to get to shoot they call it the target, the lady with the gun. They were going through the air ducts because earlier the administrator, that man, he was so cold. Can somebody turn that air down? Can they turn the air down? Next thing you see, he's hot and he's sweating and stuff. And that's when Robin realizes they're coming through the air duct, because I think Dante sent her a message saying that they already are breaching. So she's trying to get the gun out of his hand. He said, "Get the gun out of her hand." And she's trying to talk this lady down to give her the gun. And she's talking and she's saying all this stuff about being a mother and being a parent, having a sick child. And it's like really emotional, like message. She's talking. She's like pleading with love to this is Robin talking to the mother, trying to tell her that if she don't give her that gun now, her daughter, when she get out of surgery, won't have a mother to come home to. So she talked her down to the point where the lady was in the air duct and had the shot. And all the commander said that once you have the shot, I'll give you the green light to go. And he couldn't even do the green light. He couldn't say go because Robin, the stuff she was saying was touching his heart, I guess. You remember Dante said, have a heart, man. That's a single parent. She's struggling. She's doing everything, working all these jobs, starting GoFundMe, everything to save her child. And meanwhile, the team commander has 3 kids of his own, and I think one of them had autism. So it's just like, whoa. And he couldn't even tell her to take the shot. She was like, I have the shot. Should I take it? Should I take it? And he's like, stand down. And I was like, wow. But that speech Robin made was deep, y'all. Y'all let me know down in the comment section how y'all felt about that. I thought that was a real good moment that she had. And to see the tag team commander, his heart started growing like the damn Grinch. Didn't it, y'all? It started growing like the Grinches. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. And I forgot to mention an important part. Dante and McCall was having an issue, with how to handle this, whereas he was telling her the best thing she better do right now is get that gun out of that woman's hand. And Robin was almost like fighting him on it. He said, I'm telling you, listen, do it my way this time, or something like that. And then she finally gave in. And Robin know that lady could have gotten killed if she didn't give her the gun. I don't know why Robin was fighting Dante on that one. That part I didn't like. It shouldn't have been a big struggle between them for that. And then it ends with Dante and Robin showing up to the jail to see Lauren, and Robin letting her know that her daughter's surgery was a success. And the woman's like, I don't know how to thank you. And she's hugging her. And Robin said, don't thank me. Thank Dr. Masaki. He's the one who saved Emily's life. She said, and the hospital is about to offer him a path to residency at their hospital. And I like what Robin said to her is like, you did what you had to do for your daughter. I was just backing you up. One mother helping another mother. And I was like, that was cool right there. Then her and Dante left out of the jail and they had their little conversation again. Robin is thanking him for allowing her to tell Lauren in person the news, and he said, well, you saved a couple of lives today, you earned that. And then she let him know how much she appreciates him, and he said, I hope you do, because not too many people take on a whole tag team for you. And I was thinking he was sure right about that, wasn't he? And she was like, nah, that was all you. But then she goes, we make a great team. And he said, we sure do. And he said, but that's what it is. If we're going to continue to do this, it has to be a team effort and team decisions. And she agreed, and then she apologized again for that Randall guy who got away again. So Dante said, that's over now. And Robert said, are we good? And he said, yeah, we're good now. And with that smirky smile he does, ooh, baby. So then Robin's home, and they're sitting down to eat Miss Audrey's gumbo that we all know Aunt Vi revived her recipe. And they're sitting there, and Delilah's talking about learning more about Grandpa, which was Robin's father, and going back to that old neighborhood. Robin made that idea up too, so they could stay in touch and reconnect with our roots. And then the doorbell rings. Robin goes and answers it, and she's getting served by Miles. And that's the way it ended. And she told him he wants full custody of Delilah. And Delilah's like just looking like, what? Or did she turn into, what's his name? Lil Wayne. What? Anyway, that's your girl Barbie J. I'm sorry this review was so long, but it was such a good episode. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it down in the comment section. And I will see you guys in the next video. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Peace.